trouble yesterday versus a DreamHack. So let's see if they can repeat the performance from yesterday, but now guaranteeing a victory against Black Sentence.
Yeah, very interesting how we're going to start off this draft. An immediate glue takeoff there by Infinity. And then on the other side, we're going to go with the Boxia takeoff there. The one thing that usually kind of sticks out to me, especially when you start seeing some of the new ban right from the beginning, is like, what are we going to start leaving open? Some of the big ones have been the Sora, the Zushin, the Marcel has been a big one. Though Marcel, I feel like at this point, I almost feel like maybe you got to put it on the list with like a fan with how I explain the Fanny. You need to be like just got to be an aura of confidence that you need to be able to kind of pick that off, especially when it comes to the cohesion needed for your team.
There's Marcel being banned out right there. They banned out the Sora. Freya has not been banned yet, but I'm thinking that will be the next ban. So unless they want to keep it open, that'll be nice to see.
yeah. So I agree with you, Private. To play with Marcel, Fanny, or Ling, you have to be good, which is not my case. So sorry about that. But now we're waiting for the okay. The third ban was in Freya. It was a surprise because usually Freya is the first or the second one, but now he comes to the third. All right, guarantee. But now the first pick, it's a Zushin for Infinity, a very good one, a very strong one. But we are seeing now the response that comes from Black Sentence, maybe Harley here for guaranteeing an early game with Claude.
Break all the rules.
Yeah, it's I want to say the biggest things when you have a Zushin on the enemy team is you're going to want to have something that can get to that back line. Still waiting to see what that little, it sounded like it could have been Jawhead. I'm honestly not sure. Kind of the anticipation as we wait for trying to figure out the voice lines here. But I want to say when it comes to Zushin, you kind of want something that's going to be able to get to the back line, close the distance on it, and take her down quickly. Because as we saw from the last game, you do not have time to be able to. That we're all wrong. I don't know where that. I don't recognize either of those voices that kind of came out there. But Carrie and Uranus, those are going to be the first ones. I think Uranus, we've seen this before where Uranus gets a lot of those stacks on him because of Zushin, and if you pull him back, he does have an escape when it comes to having that consecration, and then you've got a Uranus with full stacks running around your team. So very interesting pickup here for the side of Black Sentence.
Yes, for sure. Uranus is a hard one to deal with. We did see that lineup. Zushin had a hard time against it, so it was a smart pick there on the side of Black Sentence.
Yeah, we still have the possibility for Uranus here heading in the XP laner or at the jungle. That could be also. So they have this flexibility choice. Now the third one here is chosen by okay, now we know that Uranus goes for XP lane while Fredrin is heading for the jungle. All right, a very tanky composition so far from Black Sentence.
There are no shortcuts in life.
Well, you still have the option of Uranus possibly going in the roam position. I feel like it's actually really interesting because Uranus does provide he provides the I want to say the offset of the team picking up a Fredrin, because then he can go into the jungle position. Now we're looking at XP or possibly a roam. I think I've talked a little bit about how I view our Uranus in the XP position. If it comes down to trying to execute a plan like we've seen before, where Uranus is going to be that frontliner, continually trying to get those stacks from Zuxin, I think I'd rather see him in the roam position. The only problem for me is that sometimes Uranus doesn't do well before he starts getting a lot of those items. You're really banking on being able to get those stacks and keep them up for him. As we move and transition into the second banning phase, we see that Chip and Eve taken off the board by both of these teams.
Yes, I was going to say priority ban would be a marksman, and they did that. Granger's being taken out, but that still leaves open the Bruno that a lot of these teams have been choosing, and the Harith as well.
Yeah, so seeing here Infinity banning Kalia, versus against Black Sentence, it gives an idea that maybe it's almost sure that Uranus goes for the XP lane, but it will still have the possibility that goes for roaming. But as Private said, it is not so interesting for Uranus because he doesn't have some kind of initiation, hard engage or something, you know. And in the very first minutes, he's not so tanking. He depends on some items to buy more time for the composition works, you know. So maybe it's not a good idea for a Black Sentence. But now we're waiting for the fourth choice for Black Sentence. We heard afraid. Oh, Kaja once again. Okay, suppression here, but against who? Against I mean Harley or maybe Zunshin, but it is not so easy to get in the back line here versus Infinity. And before passing to you, Private, only reminding the people from the chat, this Black Sentence is not the same as the M7. You know, it's it's a brand new lineup. The only remaining from the old lineup is a Papa Dog, which is playing today. But now comes with the final composition here. Belleric and Claude.
Oh, I love Belly.
One of her favorite roams there, Belleric. I heard I have the power of light, and I'm like, there's no way that wasn't Kaja, was it? Because I'm trying to figure out, usually you want to pair a Kaja up with some type of burst damage to come down. I know you have the Appraiser's Wrath that can come out from Fredrin, but I mean, that you're kind of, you're really banking on trying to line up him getting all of his stacks, getting a whole bunch of damage there. Here, we've got a little bit of, this is a decent ability to get a wombo combo when it comes to like a decent amount of CC. The only problem for me right now is I feel like Black Sentence might be lacking a little bit of the damage, especially in the early game.
Yeah. And especially when we are talking about like the target for possible targets for a Black Sentence here with Kaja. It is not very interesting because as we were talking, Private, especially in the Armor South, their preference for a slippery situation, you know. So we have Harley, which has mobility, a Zunshin, a Claude, you know. And okay, you are targeting a Lapu Lapu, you're focusing a Lapu Lapu, you're focusing a Bella. Are you sure about that? So I think that, okay, maybe for a Black Sentence is not having a good time, not having a good situation in this first game here.
Well, I mean, there is the possibility of them maybe being able to use the flicker to get back onto Lionel, to get the Divine Judgment to pull them in. That's going to be a squishy mage. It's not going to take too much damage to be able to bring them down, especially if you pair that up with the Fury of the Phoenix to get the stun and keep her there longer. I'm assuming that this Zushin is going to be paired up with a Purify, though.
Yeah, you talk about like using the Flake with the Divine Judgment here from Kaja. It is a good idea, but I was thinking about like, okay, he is able to use that, but don't you think that the range could be like far enough to have a possible follow-up from the rest of the team? Okay, maybe we still have ZTN here with the ultimate and the poke from her abilities. But what about Carrie? What about Fredrin? They are not with a high range, right?
Yeah, definitely not with the high range. And I agree that I feel like the Zeshian can actually, or that the Zushin can actually get so far back that maybe it's going to put the Kaja into harm's way, trying to jump or trying to get that flicker into the back line to try to jump onto them. So you're really banking on some great positioning there as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Black Sentence can kind of succeed with this as we move into our first game, our first game of the last series of the night. It's going to be Infinity taking on Black Sentence. Both of these teams licking their wounds from a loss yesterday and looking to try to set the standard for today.
Yeah, no time for talking here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let of Dawn for the last match. Black Sentence versus Infinity. Both teams lost in the first day, but now here comes a possible dive.
Yeah, Roos is going to be able to take care of that too. He's at level 3 right now. I think all team members are kind of a little edgy about trying to dive under a Lapu, especially because he's got a decent amount of... Oh, actually, now they actually might be looking for it. You can see them down at the bottom. They're going to come in too. He's going to use that flicker to get away. That's going to be a spell that he's not going to have for this next turtle. So that's going to be an interesting engagement for them. Lionel now starting to put damage onto Papa Dog. They're going to go ahead looking for an engagement here as the turtle taken down to about 50% now. Down comes the Fury of the Phoenix. Is it going to be enough damage? Erwin down to 50%. Aurora able to pick up the first turtle as Rusi takes down Erwin. The Appraiser's Wrath comes down but doesn't do a heap of damage to Rusi. Speaking of which, rest of the team is right there to pick up the bag as Papa Dog finds a kill on to Rusi. Now looking for their escape. Aurora taken down by ZZ with that deadly magic.
Yeah, ZZ didn't participate in the turtle, so the turtle was guaranteed by Black Sentence, but so far the guaranteed 2 kills for Infinity, and we have to wait about, like, especially with Joel Crew with the carry here, which has 1 assistance from the last team fight, and now we're see like Black Sentence versus Infinity. Okay, we have to wait just a little bit for more. Especially with the gold lanes here, especially with the carry and Claude, they are going to be very important and crucial for the rest of this game number 1. But we also have to take care, especially with Erwin here, with Kaja, and what he can provide, what he can here do the ultimate. Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, you can see Fanboy taking a heap of damage there. He's going to have to get out of the way. Right now, we really haven't seen the effectiveness of Erwin. He just got his level 4, so now we're going to be looking for some of those Divine Judgments if he can get to the back of the line to be able to execute something like that. Papa Dog doing Uranus things, cutting lane deep into enemy territory here. And you can see actually trying to do the same thing as Rusi on his side of the map, but he just was not able to get to the minions in time. So cutting the lane, and now Uranus is going to be able to join us. Papa Dog going to be able to join this fight right away. 15 seconds left on the turtle as 4 members of Black Sentence looking to come up to the top lanes. The Blotch might be in a little bit of trouble, but Fanboy going ahead, giving him that information, helps the Blotch to go ahead and create that distance on the back line. Going in for the next turn. We do have a Divine Judgment, lands on the Fanboy. Aurora able to find the kill, but now Infinity looking to answer back. We have a Blazing Duet coming on. The Blotch in a little bit of trouble, gets popped up, using that BMI to get himself out of harm's way. The tied up score right now, 2-2 for Infinity as they continue to work onto this turtle. Aurora trying to get in here. He is not able to get that vision on the turtle without getting taken out by Infinity, bringing their score 3-2 with a turtle in pocket.
You know, I don't think that Aurora, I don't think that it was the best idea for Aurora to try to steal the turtle, you know, because it was so difficult to a Black Sentence to get something, but now Joe Crew can be surprised.
Oh yeah, 4 members of Infinity well into the back line, and you can see there Erwin gets picked up there by a Lionel, and that's going to be a tower down at the top lane. 4-2 right now for Infinity. Big stun coming out from Russo. Papa Dog taking a heap of damage, but he's just continuing to get a bunch of those stacks from a lot of the minions there. Finds himself on the bad end of a stun, but this is a Uranus we're talking about, and he just continues to build up those healing stacks.
Yeah, you're right, my friend, but you see that he was taking so much damage versus Lapu. So I think that the viewers are just a little bit concerned about that, so he decided to head back. But now the fact is, a Black Sentence trying to play in a high tempo here versus Infinity, but Infinity knew how to respond back in a positive way, especially after the second turtle for Papa Dog.
Yeah, Blazing Duet is out there. Papa Dog in a little bit of trouble there. Is going to get picked up by the Zushin. Forced back as Zablot's going to be able to find the kill. That's going to be 3 members of Infinity that went in for that kill. Great job by them to get that 5-2 on a Black Sentence. Irwin's going to have to find himself a little bit of an escape while Sky goes ahead, throws down some suppressive fire to secure that pathway for him.
That is unfair. 4v1 here. Poor Papa Dog in the bottom line. But now, Infinity here doesn't care about anything. They take down the turret number 1 in the bottom lane also, and they are waiting for the next turtle that was started immediately. And apparently there is no fight back from Black Sentence.
Oh, Infinity is so quick on the dials. He's going to be able to go ahead and pick up this turtle, but as soon as Zablash goes ahead and gets that top tower, immediately rotates to the bottom, immediately finds a gank, immediately takes down that tower. They're working through this map so quickly. I don't even think Black Sentence has a moment to actually breathe. Irwin tries to go in. He's not able to find his Divine Judgments, gets yanked back, and that is going to... Oh, he uses a flicker to get away, but still gets killed. The rest of Black Sentence being chased out of their own jungle. Aurora in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the Blazing Duet from Zablotch, but he is not able to do enough damage. But here at mid, ZZ gonna go ahead and clear it up.
Yeah, I believe that, okay, the focus now can be the turret number 1. Papa Dog is trying to defend. Oh, here you go again.
Oh, yeah, Papa Dog trying to come in. Zablotch in trouble, gets taken out by that Uranus. And just when we were talking about, Consecration comes out. He is able to get away from the pull of that Zushin, trying to do the best that they can to try to protect this mid tower.
Yeah, so clever now, Papa Dog, and use the Purify before the stack for the Lantern from Zushin. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah, big Divine Judgment lands on the Fanboy. They're going to put a whole bunch of damage, but that's going to be a Bellaric right there that they're trying to take down, and a lot of wasted abilities from the sideways. Here comes Rusi and ZZ to finish off the job. That's 3 down for Black Sentence.
That was an eternity, and Papa Dog could be the next victim, but somehow he survives, and now the focus can be the turret number 1 here in the mid lane. Wow, Infinity is on fire so far. You know, did you see the eternity that Fanboy took to get down, to being taken down? It bought so much time for Infinity. That was a very good. That was a good sacrifice for Infinity to get more kills, to get the turret in the mid lane. Everything is working so well for Infinity so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, he popped his Revitalize, the Wrath of the Dryad as well to get the huge amount of defense and sustain that he needed. And that's just, I mean, that has to be on top of Irwin. He went in there, tried to surprise them in the bush, tried to select a target, but then selects the Bellaric. I know they were able to get the kill in the early game, but now you're starting to get items on him. Now he has all of his cooldown, so he was definitely, I don't remember if he went down there. Yeah, he did go down, but you wasted so many abilities on your team to be able to try to take him down that it was just easy pickings for Rusi and ZZ to come in and clean up after.
Yeah, that was the time. That was the idea. The Papa Dog here once again. Oops. Okay. Survive. Right. Okay. Take down the turn number 2 here in the bottom lane. But okay, here comes the response for Black Sentence. Would be no. They decided to head back. And as you said, Rusi and especially ZZ. And Fanboy here is a very crucial, he is doing a very crucial role just to buy the time enough for Infinity to respond back this engage for Black Sentence. Now here go again.
Yeah, it goes underneath the tower with the ultimate, the Wrath of the Dryad. Going to pull all the members of Black Sense into it. Appraiser's Wrath comes out. It's not going to be enough just yet. Look at how low the rest of Black Sentence is right now. They have to go ahead, turn heal to get some healing back at the base. That's going to be another tier 2 tower. Just high ground towers left at the 10-minute mark for Black Sense. Papa Dog in trouble is going to have to dive himself out to safety. Minions starting to crash up at the top.
Yeah, by the time of this game here, my friend Private. Okay, Papa Dog here is a 3-1 playing by Uranus. You know, the KDA is positive, but he tries his best. but it's not enough for a black sentence because we haven't seen Joe Crew do something with carry. We know the potential for Larry for a late game so far, but the question is, will black sentence will be able to protect the carry for this a very late game? Because so far, Infinity is dominating the pace, putting the cards on the table.
Yeah, not just that, but the hero selection by Erwin being able to try to get in there. We were kind of hoping he would try to get to the back line to be able to close the distance onto Lionel, onto the Zushin, but that just has not been the case. I think the 2 Divine Judgments that have been used on Fanboy, and they don't really have the damage. Now that we're looking at the 11-minute mark, as you can see the items here, you can see all the defense on top of the Belleric right now. So he's not going to be taken down very easily, especially for the fact that Joel Crew just hasn't built up the items to do the damage that he needs to do just yet to even be able to take down a tank. So it's really, I feel like the Papa Dog's doing what he needs to. It's just on Erwin right now to be able to find that target selection he needs, but I know Infinity is not making it easy.
Yeah, Infinity now is here waiting for the next Lord coming up in the bottom side of the river once again. And apparently there won't be a fight back for Black Sentence. They're not able to do that because Infinity is so far, especially in the gold lead, almost 10k. And that's it. Maybe this game here is done by Infinity. They have to do so many mistakes to lose this game for somehow, because even so far, Private, only the third #1 in the top side in favor for a Black Sentence. The advantage is huge.
Yeah, you can see Trinity built up for both marksmans right now. The only problem is that Zablash is able to find himself a great entry when it comes to that BMI to try to get to that back line. Joel Crew really has to depend on his teammates to kind of create that wall, create that distance so that he can freely use that speedy light wheel to do the damage that he needs. Now, from the side, you can see Infinity looking for an angle to try to get in here. ZZ up at the top while the rest of the team at the mid lane trying to force it in. 2 high ground towers being attacked right now. Lord finally taken down. Black Sentence. They can feel the walls closing in around them. You see minions now started coming into mid. Wrath of the Dryad comes out for all of these teams. Erwin does find himself a Divine Judgment onto Zablot. ZZ finds the kill onto 2 members. Lionel able to take it down, and that is a complete team wipe. Infinity gonna find themselves a successful game 1.
Game 1 goes for Infinity in the fast and clean here. Victory is Xena 1-0 for Infinity. Yeah.
What a game that was. It seemed like Infinity was dominating that map right there. They only allowed them 1 turret. And just the fact that they had Zushin being fully protected just like those other matches, able to get those assists in and help the team. It was really cool to see this.
Yeah, a dominating performance there by Infinity, and we were wondering too. It's unfortunate when it comes to some of the hero selections. I know you kind of tried. You have the Kaja out there, and it's unfortunate too. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the Kaja in the first place, because I feel like there's so many things that need to go correctly for you, and especially when you're checking bushes and you have to get that realization. As soon as you go into the bush, who's in here? Where is everybody positioned? Who's the perfect target? Unfortunately, he went in there. Belleric was in there. I believe Zushin was in there as well. But there's just he went for the first one that was right in front of him, and that was Belleric. They got the kill the first time they did that on the Belleric, but as the items started coming in, as the cooldowns were up, Belleric was definitely able to survive more, and unfortunately Zushin was just allowed free reign through most of those fights.
Yeah, they were able to take down Belleric in the very first minute, but even with this kill, Belleric bought so much time for Infinity to still get the kills around, you know, so the sacrifice was not in vain for Infinity in the early game. So, but as you said, Private, by the time the the time was passing and Belleric was getting the items, it was getting more difficult for Black Sentence to try to pick off, especially him. And we can say that maybe is not the best idea for like focusing here, but hey, who can a Black Sentence? Who can they? Who could they focus? Lapu Lapu of Rusi or Zablox? But using the Dex and hologram here, he could escape very well. Lionel is the same case. So this Kaja here once again, maybe the idea was really good, you know, but the execution, because when you bring Kaja, the other team say, hey, there's a Kaja on the other side, so let's take heroes here which are able to resist and wait at the same time. That's what happened for Infinity Sports.
Yeah, I mean, when we take a look at some of these highlights here, you can see Irwin, probably the first one that went down there. Yeah, Papa Dog actually executing what he needed to, getting a lot of damage laid on to the enemy team there. Unfortunately, I feel like he was probably he was the most effective part of this composition. And Uranus, I mean, even though he can get a lot of damage out there, when you're talking about having a Zushin on the enemy team, you need to be able to kind of find an answer to be able to get to that back line, to be able to shut her down. Here you can see Zabloch as Papa Dog in a little bit of trouble here against 3 members. It finally gets taken down, and we were talking about the movement of this team, how swiftly they went with being able to take the top tower, immediately rotating Zabloch down to the bottom tower, finding the gank, finding the tower. They just moved so quickly that there was just no breathing room for Black Sentence to even get some of the items that they needed.
Yeah, and even though that we can see that the idea for Infinity was so good that even Zablax here, like he didn't have to appear so much with a Claude, you know, to guarantee the kills and other things, because as we were seeing at the end of the battle, at the end of the game here with double kill with Lionel, and now we're heading for the MVP, Zena.
Oh yes, let's see who our MVP is. Oh, our MVP is the Harley. He did not die. He was a 706, 45.5k, 803 golds per minute. I feel like that's the highest we've seen. It's ZZ, our jungle for the Infinity team.
Yeah, he was doing a great job of being able to get in there, being very patient, waiting for the pickups coming in from the Zeshion, and even being able to stick a lot when it comes to the Belleric throwing out that Wrath of the Dryad to kind of keep the entire team debilitated from the side of Black Sentence. So great job there by ZZ picking up this MVP.